Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to explore the top 10 poorest countries in America based on their gross national income, GNI, per capita. GNI is a measure of the total income earned by a country's people and businesses, both domestically and internationally. It is often used as an indicator of a country's economic well-being and development. But before we dive into the list, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now let's get started. Number 10, Mexico. Mexico is a country in North America, with a population of about 130 million people. It has a GNI per capita of 10,410, which is the highest among the poorest countries in America. Mexico is a major economic and political partner of the United States, with strong trade and cultural ties. Mexico's economy is diversified, with sectors such as manufacturing, services, tourism, and agriculture. However, the country also faces challenges such as inequality, poverty, corruption, violence, and environmental issues. About 41% of the population lives below the poverty line, and more than half of the workers are in the informal sector. Number 9, Grenada. Grenada is an island country in the Caribbean with a population of about 113,000 people. It has a GNI per capita of $93.40, which is slightly lower than Mexico's. Grenada is known for its spices, especially nutmeg, which is its main export. Grenada's economy is largely dependent on tourism, which accounts for about 25% of its GDP and employs about 40% of its workforce. However, the sector is vulnerable to external shocks, such as natural disasters and pandemics. Grenada also suffers from high public debt, low productivity, and limited diversification. Number 8, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is another island country in the Caribbean, with a population of about 111,000 people. It has a GNI per capita of $9 to $110, which is slightly lower than Grenada's. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a member of the Commonwealth of Nations and has close relations with the United Kingdom. The country's economy is also based on tourism, which contributes to about 20% of its GDP and employs about 30% of its labor force. However, the sector is exposed to risks, such as hurricanes, volcanic eruptions, and COVID-19. The country also faces challenges such as high unemployment, low growth, and fiscal deficits. Number 7, Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic is a country in the Caribbean, sharing the island of Hispaniola with Haiti. It has a population of about 11 million people and a GNI per capita of $9,050, which is slightly lower than St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Dominican Republic is one of the fastest-growing economies in Latin America, with an average annual growth rate of 6% from 2010 to 2019. The country has abundant natural resources such as gold, silver, nickel, and tourism. However, the country also faces challenges such as inequality, poverty, corruption, and social unrest. About 30% of the population lives below the poverty line, and more than 40% of the youth are not in education, employment, or training. Number 6, Dominica. Dominica is another island country in the Caribbean, with a population of about 72,000 people. It has a GNI per capita of $84.60, which is slightly lower than Dominican Republic's. Dominica is known for its natural beauty, with lush rainforests, waterfalls, hot springs, and volcanoes. Dominica's economy is mainly driven by tourism, agriculture, and offshore financial services. However, the country is highly susceptible to natural disasters, such as hurricanes, floods, and landslides. The country was severely hit by Hurricane Maria in 2017, which caused damages equivalent to 226% of its GDP. The country also struggles with high debt, low growth, and limited opportunities. Number 5, Belize. Belize is a country in Central America with a population of about 419,000 people. It has a GNI per capita of $6,800, which is significantly lower than Dominica's. Belize is a former British colony and retains Queen Elizabeth II as its head of state. Belize's economy is based on tourism, agriculture, and fisheries. However, the country is facing a severe economic crisis exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The country's GDP contracted by 14% in 2020, and its public debt reached 133% of its GDP. The country also suffers from high poverty, crime, and environmental degradation. Number 4, Jamaica. Jamaica is another island country in the Caribbean with a population of about 3 million people. It has a GNI per capita of $5,670, which is slightly lower than Belize's. Jamaica is famous for its music, culture, and athletics. Jamaica's economy is also dependent on tourism, which accounts for about 30% of its GDP and employs about 25% of its population. However, the sector was severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which reduced the number of visitors by 68% in 2020. The country also faces challenges such as high debt, low growth, and social problems. About 19% of the population lives below the poverty line, and more than 40% of the youth are not in education, employment, or training. Number 3, Guatemala. Guatemala is a country in Central America with a population of about 18 million people. It has a GNI per capita of $5,350, which is slightly lower than Jamaica's. Guatemala is the most populous country in Central America and has a rich and diverse culture, influenced by its indigenous, Spanish, African, and Caribbean heritage. Guatemala's economy is based on agriculture, manufacturing, services, and remittances. However, the country also faces challenges such as inequality, poverty, violence, and corruption. About 59% of the population lives below the poverty line, and more than half of the children under 5 are chronically malnourished. Guatemala also suffers from frequent natural disasters, such as earthquakes, volcanoes, and hurricanes. Number 2, El Salvador. El Salvador is another country in Central America with a population of about 6 million people. It has a GNI per capita of $4,720, which is significantly lower than Guatemala's. El Salvador is the smallest and most densely populated country in Central America and has a history of civil war, political instability, and social conflict. El Salvador's economy is based on services, industry, agriculture, and remittances. However, the country also faces challenges such as low growth, high debt, and high crime. About 29% of the population lives below the poverty line, and more than 10% of the youth are not in education, employment, or training. El Salvador also suffers from environmental issues such as deforestation, water pollution, and climate change. Number 1, Haiti. Haiti is a country in the Caribbean, sharing the island of Hispaniola with the Dominican Republic. It has a population of about 11 million people and a GNI per capita of 1 to 600, which is the lowest in America and the world. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere and one of the most fragile and conflict-affected countries in the world. The country has a history of colonialism, slavery, dictatorship, and coups. The country also faces frequent natural disasters such as earthquakes, hurricanes, and floods. The country was devastated by a massive earthquake in 2010, which killed over 200,000 people and displaced over 1.5 million people. The country also faced a cholera outbreak in 2010-2019, which killed over 10,000 people and infected over 800,000 people. The country also suffers from political turmoil, corruption, and insecurity. About 59% of the population lives below the poverty line, and more than 40% of the children under 5 are chronically malnourished. These are the top 10 poorest countries in America, based on their GNI per capita. As you can see, these countries face many challenges such as conflict, corruption, climate change, and poverty. However, these countries also have potential such as natural resources, human capital, and cultural diversity. Therefore, it is important to support these countries in their efforts to achieve peace, stability, and development. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.